Hey, everybody, I'm back. This is week 3. This is your girl, Curly Girl Real Talk. This is my new podcast. For those of you who are just joining, I am doing a podcast. Yes, and I am. And it's what's up. So, yes, again, this is your girl, Curly Girl Real Talk, where my motto is the hair is curly and the talk is real. And that's what I want you to get out of it. The talk is real. So let's continue on our conversation of that's my drum roll. PerWHATapause? What you say? What you talking about? So we have been doing from the very beginning. I've been kind of going through what my testimony on my experience with perimenopause. And I went through the first time and basically told you guys what symptoms that I was having and the things that I had to do, the avenues that I took, and all this kind of stuff. Last week, we talked about that. Now that if you think you are in perimenopause, what should you do? What doctor should you go to? And I said that you could possibly go to an endocrinologist. You could go to your family doctor, or where I started was my OBGYN. So it's really just whatever you want to do, what your preference is. And quite frankly, like I said before, if you don't get, what you want from the first doctor, if they're not taking you seriously, or if you feel like you're being treated as a statistic like I was, then I would say go to another one. Like I said, if the worst thing is to have somebody treat you like you're crazy and there's nothing wrong with you. So, and true, perimenopause is not a disease, but why does it give you so much dis-ease? You get my point? So that's kind of what we were talking about the last 2. So you just have to catch up on those if you haven't. If you're just tuning in, thank you so much. I welcome everybody new, and I hope you're finding some meaning out of this. I have been getting some, testimonies of people saying, this is very helpful to me, and I appreciate that. Like and share. That's what you got to do. Just like and share. Let people know that I'm on. Let them know that, Curly Girl Real Talk is on, and you need to be on. You need to see what I'm talking about. So whether you're in perimenopause or not, because once this is over, we're going to just go on to something else. That's just kind of what we do here. So, all right. So without further ado, let's continue on. So today I want to talk about the things we don't really like to talk about. Now that we're in this phase, or if you think you're in this phase of your life and you're like, I'm not really ready to take the plunge into something medicating, or figuring out what I got to do to medicate the monkey, so to speak. So what can I do beforehand? Like, is there something I can do beforehand? Do I got to automatically go into, what I got to take over the counter? Do I got to go into medication already? And no, you really don't. So the first thing you can really do for yourself is diet and exercise. That's normally like anything, because any of us who are going through perimenopause, we know that, the pounds will kind of come on quickly, and a lot of it settles in the midsection, or your weight will be distributed a little bit unevenly. Like you'll have pumps and a bump somewhere else, and you don't even know where they came from. And you're like, dang gone, right? So yes, diet and exercise is very, very important. So, but that's not always feasible, but we should always try to take care of ourselves. And the first place to start is diet and exercise. So, and I can tell you that from my perspective, with all the research, that the best kind of exercise for women going through perimenopause, as they say, is body strength training or weight training. Yeah, because they say that, as we're going through this process, we lose a lot of muscle mass because of the decrease in the hormones and things like that. So a lot of that gets decreased. And so the best way to get that built back up is strength training. So whether you do that body weight strength training or you do it with weights, that supposedly is the best thing. Now, cardio is okay to do, but cardio really isn't. I mean, it's good to do maybe once or twice a week if you're doing a 5-day regimen. But to say that that's going to be the know all be all, probably not, especially if I guess it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to build muscle and you're trying to, get rid of the fat, tell me how you're doing it. But anyway, if you're trying to get rid of the fat, then the best thing to probably do is weight training or, strength training of some sort. So, but diet, there is certain foods that really are beneficial for women and their estrogen, progesterone, and or even testosterone, believe it or not. Because ladies, we do have testosterone. I mean, it's supposed to be a little bit, but we do have it. And yes, so if the estrogen drops, sometimes your testosterone can rise, believe it or not. And then, that's coming along a whole different kind of problems. Remember, I told you last time they rose my testosterone with those pellets I was doing, and she was trying to turn me into a whole man. And I'm not no man. I'm just saying. So anyway, so what kind of diet should you be on? I mean, there's no specific diet, but there is certain foods that will help you because of the vitamins and the nutrients that you need to help support your hormones, like your sexual hormones. So vegetables, leafy greens like your kale, your Swiss chard, if I'm saying that right, collard greens, arugula, bok choy, celery, cabbage, that kind of stuff. Those are all good leafy greens that will give you vitamin K, vitamin A, all those things that we really, believe it or not, when you're going through this process, a lot of those vitamins are very vitally important to keep in your diet. There are 2 vitamins that are really, really important, and I'll get to that when I talk about supplements, but I will mention them. Vitamin D and vitamin C are the 2 most important vitamins as you're going through this process, because those 2 vitamins are the ones that really support your sexual hormones the best. But we all need vitamin, all the vitamin E's are good. All of those vitamin B's, hands down, vitamin B vitamins are, and you can get a lot of that in your green leafy vegetables. So high fiber foods, the reason why is because perimenopause for me, it affected my gastrointestinal tract from my esophagus on down to the end. It really did affect it, and it can change your body function. So what I mean by that is, maybe all of a sudden you start becoming constipated more and more, and you weren't like that before. Or maybe the opposite end. Maybe all of a sudden you're having loose stools and you have no idea why. All of a sudden you're like, daggone, that could be why, because the hormone drop and raise and drop levels, they're just so sporadic around that time, really, then it can really affect your gastrointestinal tract. So high fiber foods like lentils, black beans, peas, broccoli, raspberries, pears, apples, and oatmeal. Oatmeal's huge. I try to eat oatmeal every day, but so high fiber foods, anything that can, really thicken that stool right on up, so it's not, doing one or the other, right? So the next thing is berries, any type of berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, cranberries. All of those berries are really, really good for because they got a lot of vitamin C, a lot of vitamin E, all of those that are high in those good vitamins that help support our estrogen, our sex hormones, basically, or our hormones, period. Those are the kind of nutrients that you need to help support those. So the next is obviously fatty fish. So your salmons, your tunas, your sardines. I don't like sardines, but the whole point is any of those fatty fishes, because those have those omega-3s. That's also heart healthy. So a lot of those are high in the amino acids and the things that we need to help support. All of these support our hormones. I mean, that's what they're designed to do. So proteins, obviously proteins are huge, not just with weight loss, but proteins are huge. We need, as a matter of fact, when you're going through this process, you should have probably higher protein than you have anything else. Proteins like eggs, lean meats, tofu. If you're into that. I don't particularly like tofu, but that don't mean that, your chickens, your, your lean meats, things like that. Those are all good protein based. And you want to get as much protein in your diet as you possibly can. I mean, that's the best thing, whether it's a protein shake that's got a lot of protein, or, you're using whole foods, trying to incorporate fruits and vegetables in that shake or whatever. the fact of the matter is that the higher the protein, the better, because we really need that to support, again, for the amino acids and everything that supports our hormones. So whole organic soy. Mind you, I said whole organic soy, not this processed run of the mill stuff that we see in the markets. I mean, let's just be real. Because soy contains phytoestrogens. So that means that our bodies mimic the natural, this phytoestrogens, that mimics the body's natural estrogen. So and again, it has to be whole organic, because the processed stuff, that's when they can link it to cancers and all that kind of stuff. And we ain't all about that life. So also edamame, soy nuts, tempeh, and tofu. Again, those are whole organic soy based type of products. And again, whole. That's the whole point to all this, is getting stuff whole, not processed and, all that kind of stuff. So beans, again, that's another good one, another high fiber. I should have put this up there with that, but it's peas, beans, lentils, any legumes, all those bean based that are good for, again, helping with your fiber and stuff like that. Yams and sweet potatoes. Yams are huge. Again, that's another sweet potatoes the same. They have phytoestrogens that do the same thing of the soy. They have those phytoestrogens, and phytoestrogens mimic the estrogen that our bodies make. So flaxseed and chai. I don't know. I never say this right. I don't know if it's chia seeds or chai seeds. Regardless, you know what I'm talking about. Those are also good with helping support estrogen. So those are always good. Garlic is another good. You like garlic? Put garlic in everything. Season garlic with everything. But again, it has to be organic. We're talking whole foods here. If you want them to support your sex hormones the best possible way, whole foods are the way to go. You can't get anything processed, because if it's not organic, it's been through a process. Even if you get over the counter, if you're going to the store and you're like, oh, I'll just get garlic, seasoning. Well, the whole point is it's still been processed if it's not organic. And sometimes I wonder about the organic. So you really just have to check the ingredients on that. That's the best thing you can do. Seeds, pumpkin and sunflower seeds specifically are very good. Again, some of them really are high fiber, and they support all of them support your sex hormones. So fruits are huge. Your oranges, pineapples, again, all your berries type of fruits, they're high in vitamin C. Apples is great for high fiber as well. Bananas, believe it or not, bananas. I mean, those are huge. Now, sometimes they say they got a lot of sugar, but the whole point is bananas, the benefits of bananas outweigh however much they tell you is not good for it, because, it is what it is, right? Because according to if the world will tell you nothing's good for you. So that's because half the time they probably made it and they know how much processed crap is in it. Let's just be real. So, and then finally, I just kind of put in here drinks. There are certain drinks that you can take, can use and drink. And for me, I have went decaf. I don't do regular coffee anymore. And I now just incorporated, believe it or not, mushroom coffee. And I was surprised that I actually like it. It was crazy, because I thought this is going to taste like straight dirt. But it didn't. I was surprised. It really was good. So and it's actually in an instant coffee type of thing. And I think the brand that I just got was LA. I don't even know right now. And I'll get back with you on that. How about that? But it was good. It was, like I said, it's in a instant format, but I just put a little, teaspoonful or whatever in some hot water, and it actually tastes really good. There's no bitterness to it. And I can't really tell it's a mushroom based coffee, but it has all the mushrooms in it, like the shaga and the reishi or whatever. And I mean, just all of them. It's crazy how many mushrooms are really in it. So yeah, I mean, those are really good. So, it is what it is. But kombucha, if I'm saying that right, kombucha, that is huge, because it's good for gut health. It helps with your microbiome, good antibacterial. It's got a lot of benefits. I have never tried kombucha to be honest with you, but I really probably should. If there's anybody out there who has tried kombucha, let us know what you think. Type it in the comments or whatever and let us know what you think about it, because I've never had it. And let me know what brand you like and what flavors and all that, because I know they come in a lot of different flavors. But and then apple cider vinegar. I cannot talk today. Apple cider vinegar. I hear that that's pretty good, and it helps with the hormones. It helps with the alkaline. Nope, I'm not even going to try that. The pH. How about that? In your body. It helps, kind of balance all that stuff out. And I mean, apple cider vinegar is good for a lot of things. So yeah. And then I'm sure there's many other drinks, but I just got to the main ones that I thought were good and that we could bring up. So it doesn't say you can't live your life. It's just, if this is the approach you want to take for your hormones, it really should just be whole foods. Because, and there's plenty of, recipes out there and things to do with whole foods that can still keep the nutrients and do what it needs to do for your body. And it can still taste good. So there's that. How about that? All right. So we've gotten to the foods and we've talked a lot of, just a lot of stuff. So aside from the whole foods, the caveat I want to put here is, so for me, when I started this process, it was crazy because 1 month I would enter into my monthly cycle and it would be like, I would be so hungry that nothing could satisfy my hunger. And it wouldn't be every month, just 1 month. I'd be like, I would want to eat everything in the whole house. And it was terrible because the thing about it when we go through this process, some women were more susceptible to insulin resistance. And you got to be real careful with that, because when you start looking for everything under the sun in the refrigerator, know that whole foods are the way to go, because that's going to balance a lot of your blood sugars out and not get everything so crazy like processed foods are going to do. So always keep that in mind. Everything is done in moderation. You don't have to go and eat everything that you see in sight. And like I said, when I started going through this process, it was like PMS on steroids. Because, women, right before we would get ready to start, I know me, I wanted some sweets and chocolate and all that kind of stuff, right? But this is no different. But it's on steroids. So it was like, I couldn't get enough. I couldn't get satisfied. And then once I, got myself situated and evened out, now that I'm on bioidenticals, it's a lot better. But still, you're like, whoa, where did this come from? So you really got to pay attention to that. But everything is in moderation. And that's just what you got to. And it all comes down to discipline. You really got to be disciplined in this part of your life. It's really a battle. It's a struggle, but it's a struggle that you can win. Trust me. And it's all about balance on everything. Just because your body's telling you it's out of balance with its hormones doesn't mean you got to be out of balance. Even though you feel halfway crazy some days or some months, the whole point is, if you find something that's right for you, everything will be just fine. Trust me. All right. So now that we've talked about the whole foods, what else can you do? Let's move on to supplementation. So if you don't really, you tried the whole food thing, it was okay, but what else can I add to the regimen? Well, you can add supplements in the form of holistic type of vitamins and, supplements. And so there is a plethora of many, many things that do help with hormones. So you don't necessarily got to go out and do something over the counter, but this would be a good first, go-to of over the counter if you wanted to. So here is a list of about 15 that I have found that there's some women that swear by it. And when I've looked and did my research, some of these things, and there's some women that are like, yeah, I did it for a while. It started and then all of a sudden it wore off and then blah, blah, blah. So again, it's really based on the individual. And when you try it, trial and error. It's really all this phase is about, is trial and error. So, all right, black cohosh. Black cohosh helps reduce hot flashes, sleep disturbances, and irritability. It also contains positive effects of mood by activating serotonin receptors in the brain. So black cohosh, again, that's the one thing that when I went to the OBGYN, she said, you got to find something with black cohosh because that helps with hot flashes. So I did. And then she told me to go get Estroven, and that had black cohosh and, whatever. The next is chasteberry, Chaste berry. The balancing effects of chasteberry on the hormonal level in the body provides relief from symptoms of menopause and PMS. I told you I can't talk today. So yeah, chasteberry, never heard of it. But when I was doing my research and I seen a lot of women that was on that and they felt like that was a good start. So I thought, okay, I'll put it in here. Here I am. Was just talking about the mushroom coffee, but reishi, I hope I'm saying that right. REISHI, mushrooms. They are an aptogenic and potential a potent cellular antioxidant, and they fight the effects of aging. Now, we all know that once we start going in this process, ladies, of perimenopause, if you're not careful and doing something for it, you can age rather quickly, whether you want to or not, because that's just the process that you're going through because your hormones are going crazy. So that's why I'm saying, if you feel like you're in this process, let's try to find something that can help you, whether it is holistic, whether it is supplementation, whether it is over-the-counter brands, or whether it is you go do synthetic hormones or what I do bioidentical. But try something. It's all trial and error, guys. I'm just telling you that from experience. All right, maca root, MACA root, a potent source of energy, stamina, and reproductive health. So it apparently helps all the way around, but specifically for the reproduction. So, but again, it says it gives you energy and stamina. So, hey, why not? Holy basil, never heard of that ever, but it acts as an amazing, natural, and totally safe cortisol balancing agent. So, cortisol is the stress hormone. So if you're one that has a lot of anxiety, you might look for something that's going to help balance that cortisol level. Because if you have too high cortisol, trust me, not a good thing. It can put a lot of other things off. So if you can find, again, it's called Holy Basil. And there's not a specific brand that I knew of because I didn't do this. As a matter of fact, I didn't really know anything about it when I started this process. So I might have tried it had I known, but I didn't. Ashwagandha, ASHWAGANDHA. It's a mouthful, but I did take this and it does kind of help with anxiousness. So if you're suffering from anxiousness, try ashwagandha. Ashwagandha it's a way, whatever effects it has in it or whatever ingredients it has in it, it dramatically helps to reduce stress and cortisol levels, again, with zero negative side effects. I didn't have any side effects when I took it. And I took it at first when I was taking the estrogen. It was just something like an added thing. But at that time, the anxiousness that I was having at that time was just way too high. So it was already, like, geez, let me do something. I need to do something different. So anyway, so holy basil and ashwagandha, if you're having some anxiousness, maybe try those over the counter and see if you can find a good one, or maybe go to a whole health food store or something, or a health store that can just ask them if they have that and they'll point you in the right direction. So, and let us know if you guys try that. Let me know how it works for you, because I'd like to know, but you're going to have to really give yourself at least 30 to 60 days to see if it really has an effect. You know how anything, supplements are no different. So, all right, milk thistle, clinically shown to promote liver health and enhance liver regeneration. That's what's up, because the older we get, the more liver regeneration we need, because our liver takes the brunt of everything we do, because it literally is our body's filter system. So if we're bogging it down with all kinds of unnecessary processed stuff, you're going to have a real sluggish liver. Okay. So that's probably a good thing to do. And as a matter of fact, I might try to see if I can incorporate that in there, because anything to help us, or a good detox, you can always do a good juice or whatever detox if you can find it. Those are always helpful too, because then that can detox your liver and you can start all over again and hopefully get away from the processed stuff. And then this one is Dong, D-O-N-G, Quay, Q-U-A-I. That supports a healthy inflammation response, hormonal balance, and improves blood flow. So inflammation response, controlling that is huge. So if you start really noticing, like, like I started having issues like arthritic type pain in my hands and my feet, and my whole body sometimes would ache. And I just felt, like sometimes my legs would feel, just weird, like not really swelling, but almost felt like it. And so it's just really because of going through this part, this point in your life, it can bring on more inflammation because of the sporadic hormones. So Dong Quay, There it is. That's what Dong said. He said, go ahead and try it. All right. Evening primrose oil. This helps relieve hot flashes as well as black cohosh. It also helps with irritability, nervousness, and trouble sleeping. I, again, have not heard of that. But I did read up on that. And a lot of women actually, more than not, of all these other things, it was either black cohosh or this evening primrose oil that they would try. And again, it's really just trial and error. Some women stated they had great success with it and took away their hot flashes. But again, it depends on if you're having hot flashes. Maybe you're only having them here and there and you don't really need that. So you never know. I don't know. But check it out. And then the next thing, the last one is red clover. Red clover helps to enhance progesterone's effect in the uterus and in ovarian cancer cells. So basically, red clover helps, enhance the progesterone's effects in the body. So what, even if it's, sporadic, whatever is in there, that, red clover will help that. So again, I didn't know that either. This was all trial and error. So again, any of these that I've said that you try, let me know. Let me know how they go, because I can definitely, let everybody know that, because that's, this is all, we're in this together. We're all in this together. High School Musical. Come on. All right. So the next things are vitamins that we really, 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 I cannot stress this enough, you need. The first one is vitamin C. Again, vitamin C helps maintain healthy skin, teeth, bone, and soft tissue. So basically all around, you need vitamin C. You just need it. It helps support your hormones. Vitamin E. We all know that vitamin E helps with the formation of red blood cells and is an antioxidant. We need those antioxidants. We need those more than ever to help combat any bad cells that are coming, because when your hormones are sporadic, you just never know, right? So vitamin D is huge, 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 huge. Vitamin D. It helps the body absorb calcium, and it is made when skin is exposed to the sun. So if you get out in the sun a lot, praise the Lord. But if you don't, and the seasons like, in the winter when you can't really, and there's not much sun, get you some over-the-counter vitamin D, because trust me, it helps, and it's great for our bones. Your bones will thank you for it, because once I started taking that, the aches and the pains that I was having in my bones, it's like next to nil now. So praise the Lord. This one right here is huge if you're having trouble sleeping. I take this myself, and it's magnesium glycinate, glycinate. And that helps with anxiety, and it also helps you sleep. So I can tell you that by taking magnesium at night, it really does help me sleep. I don't really notice it so much on the anxiousness side if I am, because I don't usually experience a lot of anxiousness at night. If I'm in that kind of month and it acts up, it's usually going to be during the day or maybe in the early evenings. And then it, whatever. And then you can just tell, you'll get so used to it when you'll know your hormones are, yep, these bad boys must be tripping, because I get like this or this happens, and it only happens at this time of the day. So once you start getting fine-tuning your body, you'll understand your body more, and you'll be able to know when these cycles happen and around that time of the month, and you'll be able to write those down and journal them. Because remember, I said journaling those symptoms when you take it to the doctor for the first time is really going to help seal your case, to let them know, see, I'm not crazy. This has been going on for this long, and these are the symptoms I'm having. So help assist out. So all right. And then finally, Vitex, Vitex, is has hormone regulating properties, and is useful for a wide range of reproductive conditions. So again, those are the ones that I've seen mostly that women were taking, that, a lot of them found benefit, then some didn't. So it's really, again, just trial and error, what you think is going to work for you. Maybe you take them and you don't find any relief of it, or maybe you take it and you're like, yeah, it seems to be okay, so I'll stick with that. Again, it's all what you need for you. It's because every woman is made differently, so we just don't know until we try it. So it's all trial and error. So there are other treatments. There's holistic type of treatments. I heard that chiropractic, adjustments. I've heard women swear by that, but you got to kind of have to do that a lot. There was some women that's all they went to was a chiropractor to deal with their hormones. Believe it or not, I know that's crazy. And then I also heard that acupuncture will help. It was surprising to me how many women went to a holistic doctor for acupuncture. And they swear that it helped them. And I was like, really? Because I would not think a bunch of needles in my back and everywhere else would be comfortable. But hey, if it works, it is what it is. I never tried that route because I just didn't, I don't know. But anyway, so there's always that, you always got those holistic approaches, and maybe, hey, you never know till you find out, right? Or maybe you've talked to somebody and it worked for them. But again, let me put that caveat out there. Just because it worked for one does not mean it's going to work for you. So it really is, this can be a tailor-made thing when it comes to perimenopause, but you can't tailor-made it to somebody else that's went through it, and what worked for them may not work for you. So it's just going to have to be trial and error until you find what it is that's going to work best for you. That's what I had to do. That's probably what many women had to do until they found something that was right for them. But I just want to let you guys know that you do have options, because normally, probably back in our mothers was going through this process, it was pretty much either you took Premarin or whatever, and it was hormone therapy, and that was it. Have a great day. You're going to probably be in HE double hockey sticks for a minute. But the whole point is, we don't have to settle for that. So yeah, it's just one of those things, and you just don't know until it's trial and error on all those. So, and then the last thing, well, we're almost to time, so I might just wait. I did have a request though, that, I talk about insurance and what insurance will, pay on this, or if they will pay. So that's a great question. And really the best advice I can give you right now is figure out what your insurance payer pays. And the best thing you can do is look at your policy and see if they'll pay for any type of hormone replacement. And if they do, does it have to be, prescribed from a qualifying provider, or whether they'll cover bioidentical? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm not saying all the time, don't get me wrong, but 9 times out of 10, bioidentical hormones are going to be from a compounding pharmacy. Like mine comes from she's a registered pharmacist. But she specializes in hormones. And so that's kind of the difference. My family doctor is involved in that because he has to actually write the scripts, but she sends him the information and he approves it, and they get it filled like that. So it's a pretty much a good union, because it's, that's what had to be done, in that process, because a registered pharmacist can't write scripts. They can only fill them. So again, look at your policy, figure out what it'll pay for. I can tell you that a lot of them probably won't pay for bioidentical. I'm not sure why they don't. They don't consider it something. I don't know why, but they just don't. But I do know that if you have a FSA or a flexible savings account, or an HSA, a health savings account, where, like the flexible spending, I have that for, as part of my insurance policy or insurance plan. And it's front loaded with money, a certain amount that I've figured would be beneficial for me. And it gets taken out of my check, but it's front loaded up front, so I can use it automatically. And so I can use it on things like my bioidentical if I choose to. Because I do creams. So it could work for that, but it is what it is. So, but you just have to look at your plan, call them and ask them. That's the best thing I can tell you to do, is call your insurance provider and ask them, look, this is what I'm thinking about doing, or this is what I think is going on. Is there anything that you cover? Do you cover for things like, hormone replacement? A lot of them will probably only pay for if you go to an OBGYN or a family doctor that they prescribe synthetic hormones. But I don't know that to be for sure. So maybe some insurance policies are starting to switch, which I hope so, because there's starting to be a little bit more talk about perimenopause and what we're going through with this. But in the future, I hope that is the case. And then these, hopefully they can incorporate days off for women that go through this. Come on. We women go through a lot, not just in perimenopause, but when we are going through our menstruation cycles and all that kind of stuff. I mean, some women have really bad periods. So I'm hoping in the future they will really put that in effect, that our insurances and our employers, will incorporate days off and things like that in there, and our insurances will pay for things like that on whatever range. So again, always look into that, because you just never know until you ask. So If you do have a flexible spending, I know for sure you can probably use those for any, like I do creams, so I could use those on my creams. You just have to show receipts that it's valid and it's got it from a valid place and all that kind of stuff. But they probably will. A health savings account, it's the same thing. You put the money in there, and sometimes your employers match you, or sometimes they'll only put a percentage in, but they might do that too. You could probably do that. I don't have a health savings account because a lot of times that's for people. Well, I know for my specific employer, the health savings account is correlated to a insurance plan. That those are for people that really don't need to go to the doctor that much, and they have enough in this health savings account that the employer helps fund that a little bit. So they have enough in there if they need to do yearly things or, prophylactic things, then they can do that and it's covered kind of thing. So they don't really need to go to the doctor that much. So whatever. So anyway, I hope that helped you. But the best thing to do again is just to contact them and see what they will cover, if anything, on that front, and you'll know what you got to do. So but I think we're going to stop it here. In the next week, we're going to pick up on the final two things that I wanted to discuss on treatment. And that's going to be any synthetics and finally the bioidenticals, and give you some more information on bioidenticals. And then finally, I'll tell you where I go, because she's an amazing lady. And she's very well educated in hormones and what to do. And it's really not as bad as I thought it was, you guys. I thought it was going to be astronomical because the pellets, and I'll get to all that, which are also bioidentical, they can be very pricey. So I will get to all that next week. I think we're going to call it a day now, but you guys come back, keep sharing, keep liking, keep coming back, because the information is going to keep coming. I think we might be done maybe another session or two, probably two, knowing me. But yeah, so come on back. Let's get some more information in. Let's get you guys educated so you know what options are out there for you, so that if you are going through the big PerWHATapause, you at least know what you can do about it and what options you have for you. So I thank you guys so much for your support. I thank you. I welcome your comments. Reach out and let me know anything you want to get off your chest, anything you'd like to see for any upcoming podcasts, anything you want me to cover. Let me know. I want to do what you guys feel is good topics to discuss. And, I'm always going to put biblical principles in anything because I'm that kind of girl. I'm Christ-like like that. Anyway. All right. I love you guys. You really are the best people. And this is, what is it? Curly Girl. Real talk, where my motto is the hair is curly. I know you can't see it. I'm going to eventually get a picture, but don't worry about it. The hair really is curly and the talk is always real. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I love you.